The story of Overwatch is like a Shakespearean comedy, where it's not so much ha ha, like laughing kind of comedy, more so just tragic. Just a completely horrific series of blunders that you can't help but point and at least giggle at. But overall, everything that's happening with Overwatch right now is entirely its own fault. I already made a whole video talking about the pathetic fumble of Overwatch 2, how they just completely slapped down the campaign and basically just annihilated it like the asteroid to the dinosaurs. It's extinct. The Overwatch 2 campaign, the single player, you know, the number one selling point of Overwatch 2, the thing that made Overwatch 2 a sequel, they just completely are getting rid of. And now you're being drip-fed little bits and pieces of what that content once was in the seasonal storyline PvE shit. So it's pathetic. A shell of what it was supposed to be, and it just keeps getting worse. Overwatch League, the esports scene for Overwatch, is imploding. Now, it's not completely dead yet, but it looks like it's on its deathbed. It looks like it's getting out its final ooh-rah here, and it's going out sad. It's actually pretty wacky. I haven't read this article on it. I wonder if this gives the full overview. Let me see. 6 years after the Overwatch League was formed, dark clouds loom on the horizon, but is OWL coming to an end? As the esports industry continues to navigate a dark period, commonly referred to as the esports winter. Jesus, that's embarrassing. Please don't call it that. This is just very natural for a highly inflated industry. Everyone knew this day was coming. They just kept kicking the can down the road. Oh, here we go. The 12 initial teams paid $20 million to enter the league in 2017, with the price of 8 expansion slots rising to as much as $35 million a year later. Actual, full-blown scam. Big thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring today's video. Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance platform that allows you to save more and spend less. Rocket Money allows you to manage subscriptions, lower bills, build a custom budget, and grow your savings all in one place. I had actually just recently learned that I was still paying a subscription to a game that I haven't touched in probably about 6 years now. And thanks to Rocket Money, I was able to notice that and cancel it easily, with no headache and no hassle whatsoever. Rocket Money can also help lower your bills by uploading a photo, tapping a button, and it'll negotiate bills for you, from internet service bills to cable and phone bills. You can also set your own budgets to help keep everything in line, so that way you know if you're getting close to exceeding them, because you'll get a notification from Rocket Money, and it helps you visualize your spend-to-earn ratio by month, quarter, and year. Overall, Rocket Money is a fantastic all-in-one finance platform with tons of tools and features that can really help you out. So if you want to get started, you can get a free trial by going to the link in the description below, or by going to rocketmoney.com/moist to start trying it for free, or you can unlock even more features with premium. Thanks again to Rocket Money for sponsoring this video. I brought this up multiple times after starting Moist Esports, because not a lot of people, like very few people, but a couple of people asked if we'd have any interest in Overwatch, and I said even if we did really like the competitive scene a lot, super passionate about it, there is no world where we could afford the buy-in. And I said it was like 20 million, and chat was like, "You're so wrong. No way. No, it's not. You're lying." Despite big ambitions and the extravagant sums of money involved, the Overwatch League has lost steam over the years, failing to ever eclipse the viewership it achieved at launch. Multiple factors have contributed to this, from the controversial YouTube exclusivity deal to the 2020 global health and travel crisis, to the allegations of abuse and harassment at Activision Blizzard. I don't know how much the YouTube exclusivity deal mattered. Even if it wasn't and they were still broadcasting on Twitch and YouTube, well, actually they wouldn't be able to under Twitch's new rules. That'd be illegal. That's forbidden. Okay, let's just assume they never had the exclusivity though. I don't think it would change. The interest in the game overall has been declining. And the esports sector of any game is always just a pocket. It's not the whole community. So it's kind of a niche within the community itself already. I don't think it would have mattered that much. Viewership in the Overwatch League has been in free fall. The recent 2020 spring stage qualifier had a peak of 118k and an average of 55k, a huge drop off from 437k and 140k from season 1. Do they do drops? Because this is actually a lot higher than I would have expected it to be. That's actually higher than the LCS. I imagine they do drops in order to gamify it a little bit, to cheese some viewers. They do? Okay, that makes sense. With no clear path to profitability and Activision Blizzard in the middle of acquisition by Microsoft, the Overwatch League could be on its last legs. It is. I hope they cover it. Yep, it's right here. As of July 20th, there's no confirmation that the Overwatch League is coming to an abrupt end. However, this possibility has become increasingly likely since Activision Blizzard released its second quarter earnings report, and the document revealed that OWL teams will vote on a new operating agreement at the end of the current season. A team that opts out of the league will be entitled to receive $6 million in termination fees. This means that if all 19 franchise teams decide to withdraw from the league, Activision Blizzard will pay a total of $114 million in termination fees. They're literally paying you to leave. They're like, please leave. We will even pay you to get the fuck out. Everyone will take it. I really think every single franchise team will. But imagine one that has so much money that they want to be petty. They could not take it and basically just hold the Overwatch League hostage, I think. Which would be fucking amazing. Just one team. The Bumblefuck Scoremasters, the last Overwatch League team holding out, refusing to take the buyout. It's like when a city's trying to buy like a dilapidated house in order to build around the area, and the owner just won't sell. It's like that scene in Better Call Saul, actually. But with an esports squad. In the city case, I believe the government can forcibly take it. I don't think so. I'm not an expert, but this is very personal, actually. My university, the University of Tampa, they were doing some rapid expansion, and they were buying up a ton of houses and a ton of property around the area in order to keep building the university out over the last 10 years. There is still, to this day, last I checked, although it's been about a year now, so maybe it's different, one house in the middle of all of it. It's right before their lacrosse field, right next to their gym, and right in between their dance studio. There is one fucking house that they cannot buy because the owner will not sell. He refuses to sell. He's had it since like the fucking 30s. That shit's been there since the Stone Ages. He will not sell it. Apparently they keep offering and he just says no thank you. And he keeps his house planted in the middle of everything. In a sea of university students, there is one 2-story rough shape house that they cannot take from him, I guess, because he is not selling it. Unless he did over the last year. Like I said, it's been about a year. I hope he didn't, though. I really hope he didn't sell it. After spending between $20 to $35 million in franchise fees, plus millions more in operating costs over the years, many teams may simply opt out of the league and take the termination fee to stop the bleeding and recoup some of their losses. Independent reporter Jacob Wolf reported in May 2022, Activision was still owed approximately $400 million in unpaid franchise fees from OWL and CDL, as payments were deferred during lockdowns. This is another one you guys didn't believe me on. CDL was also a $20 million buy-in, roughly, for the esports side. You guys didn't believe me there either. It is. It is legitimately just a full-blown Activision Blizzard scam. The fucking franchising costs. In May 2023, the Sports Business Journal reported that Overwatch League had agreed to waive the outstanding franchise fees for all teams. At the time, the OWL teams still owed anywhere between $6 and $7.5 million to the league. According to Activision Blizzard's most recent financial report, the Overwatch League revenue represents less than 1% of the company's consolidated net revenue. This came only 2 months after the company stated that the Overwatch League and Call of Duty League continue to face headwinds which are negatively impacting the operations and potentially the longevity of the league under the current business model. There is no business model. The business model was hose these organizations for a massive franchise spot buy-in and nothing else. There is no business model. Esports is not a business. It's just net loss forever. Literally forever. No one's figured it out yet. No specific date has been announced as of yet. All we know is that the team owners will vote to either continue in the Overwatch League under a new operating agreement or walk away and receive a $6 million fee at the end of the current season. The 2023 Overwatch League season will come to an end with the LAN finals scheduled for September 28th through October 1st, and the event will take place in Toronto, co-hosted by the city's franchise Toronto Defiant, and feature the top 5 teams from the West, top 3 from the East. The winner will take home $1 million. I'm sure this one might actually get viewership because it'll be the last one, and then they're paying people to get the fuck out. Closing down the house party, turning off the music, and then giving them a little goodie bag of $6 million on the way out and a pat on the ass. Even if Overwatch League does disappear at the end of the 2023 season, this doesn't necessarily mean that Overwatch Esports will cease to exist. In a May 5th interview with Deserto, Sean Miller, the head of the Overwatch League, highlighted that the company remained committed to supporting the game's esports ecosystem. Overwatch Esports are not going away anytime soon. Oh, is that right? Just like Overwatch 2's campaign's coming out any day now, the PvE is going to be amazing. We're going to have seasonal storylines when you couldn't deliver on that. All of those other amazing promises that have come true for Overwatch. Your word means a lot, Sean. The Overwatch track record has been stellar. Blemish-free. There's rumors about teams suing over false statements to investing, which is why they're offering the $6 million. They should still sue. They should still sue. This article hasn't mentioned it yet, but they apparently also laid off most of their staff, like their esports staff, for Overwatch. I read that earlier today, but maybe it comes in towards the end of the article. On July 19th, Miller underlined the same point, telling Verge that Activision Blizzard is building towards a revitalized global scene that prioritizes players and fans. As opposed to what? Prioritizes what? Like, this is esports. Players and fans. There's nothing else. Like, I mean, I guess you could prioritize money, but you've done a terrible job with that, too. Like, this is a nothing statement. This is legitimately a nothing statement. This means nothing. He added that the company could be taking elements from other esports leagues when designing the future of Overwatch Esports. One such league is Overwatch Apex, a tournament series in South Korea organized by cable TV channel On Game. Between 2016 and 2017, Apex came to an end in late 2017 when Blizzard announced that Overwatch Contenders would operate in 7 regions, and it was rebranded as Contenders. What does it mean for the Call of Duty League? It's unclear at this point how the cancellation of the Overwatch League will impact its sister, but what is clear is that the recent round of layoffs at Activision Blizzard has affected workers who were involved in the CDL operations. CDL senior producer Nicholas Henshoden was among the almost 50 people who were let go earlier this week. On Twitter, he said that he and his entire content team had been laid off, and he'd been with Blizzard since 2017, working with Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch before transitioning to Call of Duty. Yeah, they don't really have an esports staff. They're slapping them. On the July 14th episode of Nade Shot Knows, 100 Thieves president and COO John Robinson presented that all CDL teams will be in a relatively healthy position by 2025. That's a good thing for the league overall, for all businesses to go through that transition of getting to break even. If you say so. How are they getting to break even by firing all of their staff and paying people to leave the league? I understand this is for Call of Duty, but this is not showing me signs of any kind of health around the corner for the company in the esports sector. Which is not a good spectator game. I'd be inclined to agree with you. It's not the best spectator game, mainly because even though I do think Overwatch 2 changed it a bit, for the longest time it was literally just shoot at meat pile, wait for alts, coordinate alts, and not a whole lot else for a while. I think 2's definitely improved on that a bit, but for a long time, that was basically the esports scene. Oh yeah, in other Overwatch news, it's coming to Steam. Yeah, I saw. Oh, actually, it's coming to Steam much sooner than I thought. August 10th. Overwatch 2's coming to Steam. To me, that sounds desperate. Very desperate. Those player count numbers must not be looking good.